What's up guys, this is Ray and today we'll be talking about the 2003 Australian film Japanese Story, directed by Sue Brooks and starring Toni, Collette and Tsunashima Gotaro. I know you guys might be thinking, why review an Australian film? Well, for two reasons. One, this is actually a special request by Q10, one of my patrons over at Patreon, who had requested this some time back. So like as mentioned before, I'm still making my way through all my Patreon requests because I've been pretty busy. I haven't had all the time to fulfill all these requests, but that's what I'm trying to work on now. And two, it still has roots and connections to Japan. One of the stars is Tsunashima Gotaro, who's a Japanese actor. Granted, it does take place in Australia, but because it still has that connection with Japan, I'll take it. But before we dive into this review, if you guys are new to Eiga-Man Ray, I upload reviews and discussions of Japanese films every chance that I get. So if you're new to my channel and you dig the content, you can support the channel by checking out other videos that are featured here and also by subscribing. And so on to the review. The movie stars Toni Collette as this character named Sandy. She is a director of this company which designs geological software, and one of the potential clients that they want to sell their product to is this Japanese businessman by the name of Hiromitsu, who's played by Tsunashima Gotaro. And when they first meet in typical romantic film fashion, yes, this is a romantic drama, and in typical romantic fashion, when they first meet, they really don't want anything to do with each other. They come off being assholes to the other. Like, basically, Hiromitsu pretends he can't speak English when his English is just fine. And then you have Sandy, who kind of just doesn't want to deal with him because it's like inconvenient, it's just out of her way, and it's just a pain in the butt. But she's convinced by her business partner to go out and be a tour guide, if you will, be a guide of sorts for Hiromitsu as he's traveling into Australia. And as what you can expect also in typical romantic film fashion, something happens and then the two become closer and become romantically involved. I mean, that's the basis of this story. So when it comes to the positives of Japanese Story, I like the performances. I dig the performances mainly of Toni Collette. I think she was by far the standout actress in this movie. I've seen only a few movies that Toni Collette starred in, and I genuinely enjoyed them, and I genuinely dug her performance in this movie. And Tsunashima Gotaro, he's okay. I actually come to think of it, I don't think I've seen any of his Japanese movies. I do believe, I'm not looking for information in front of me right now, but if I remember correctly, he is an actor who is active in Japan, but I don't recall seeing any of his movies, at least ones that he had a starring role in. But I think he was generally okay. Granted, I want to say about 50% to 60% of his dialogue was spoken in English, and I actually don't know how fluent Tsunashima Gotaro is in speaking English. But I think for his effort, I got to commend his effort. I got to commend anytime someone has to go out of their comfort zone and speak a language that's not their own. But when it comes to the positives of this story, I want to say that's pretty much it. And I'll tell you why. When it comes to romantic stories, I like romantic movies. I'm not the biggest fan of romantic movies in this day and age. Granted, if you talk to Ray about 15 years earlier, I would have said I absolutely love romantic stories. I guess we all go through those phases, right? When it comes to romantic stories in this day and age, I try not to watch too many. I do have a pool of movies that I still genuinely like. Japanese Story hits kind of most of the check marks that I would usually associate with romantic movies I don't enjoy. I'll start with the development of the relationship of the two main characters, Sandy and Hiromitsu. I didn't for one moment that it kind of grew in the direction that a romantic relationship would. Like, when you first meet them, as I said earlier, they're kind of assholes to each other. Like, they just don't like each other at first, and then something happens, and then that kind of acts as the icebreaker of sorts that gets their relationship starting. And that moment, I kind of felt more of a relationship revolved around camaraderie, around friendship. Yeah, we're in this together. Yeah, we did a good job. Awesome job, partner. And then next thing you know, they're in bed. I don't know. It just felt random and out of nowhere. And then from then on, the romantic relationship just continued. And I felt like the way the relationship progressed, I feel like romance was just inserted into it because that's what the movie was supposed to do. Like, it's supposed to be a romantic drama, and but I didn't feel that it was a really organic progression. I'm still trying to debate as to why I didn't feel this progression in this relationship. Maybe it was the dialogue, maybe it was the cinematography, the way it framed each and every scene that featured these two. Maybe it was the performances, or maybe it was their lack of chemistry with each other. I'm still trying to put my finger on it. I mean, I don't know. In the end, I just didn't feel the relationship. I didn't believe it, and I wasn't invested in it. And another thing I wasn't quite feeling, you know, kind of about 60, 70% into the movie, something really dramatic happens, and you still have 45 minutes left in the movie. And I think generally, when this kind of event happens in a similar type of story, the movie probably only has about 15, 20 minutes left of the runtime, but I felt like this movie ran a little too long after this certain event, especially the moment, like the moment that this dramatic scene happens. It almost felt kind of awkward. You just see them the scene just lingering on, just kept going. And I don't know, I just felt like it didn't really need to be left showing for as long as it did. I don't know, maybe they dragged it out for some dramatic effect, but like I said, because I wasn't really invested in the relationship between the two characters and the journeys that they had to go through, you know, when it happened, I was just like, eh. And I think something that was kind of, I don't know if it's a missed opportunity or it was just, you know, forgotten about. They did a lot of setup relating to Hiromitsu, him coming from Japan into Australia, and also some racism that he's met with from locals from where they're traveling through. And they did a lot of the setup. I guess, you know, it's just to better paint the picture, like, oh, he's from Japan, he's coming into this country, and of course they're way different, whatever. You know, they really try to ham it up. They really try to exotify it. I'm not really exotify. What's the word? They really try to make you know that it's this guy from another country coming in. And part of the setup when it comes to the characters' journeys is the kind of racism and discrimination that Hiromitsu is met with from local Australians. And about partway through, they just kind of forgot about it. They just gave up on it, like it never was a big part of his character's journey. And it was a big missed opportunity. Well, I don't know if it was a big missed opportunity. I don't know if it could contribute very much to the overall story that it was trying to tell. But it was just some element that they just didn't follow all the way through with, and it was just left dangling. But overall, what did I have to say about Japanese story? I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, like I said earlier, romantic movies aren't exactly the best, the most fitting genre for me. You know, I do watch some here and there, but I tend to be more jaded towards my views when it comes to romantic stories. I think if you were to talk to me 15 years ago when I watched this movie, I probably might have had better things to say about it. But you know, as it is now, I just think it's meh. I mean, do I recommend this movie to watch? I guess if you're into romantic stories more so than I am, then probably. But if you kind of are in the same mindset as me when it comes to romantic stories, you probably won't enjoy it. But you know, still thank you to Q10 over Patreon for recommending this movie for me to watch and review for you guys. You know, it took a while to locate this movie, but when I did, I made sure that, you know, I had to watch it and talk about it with you guys. But as I said, you know, thanks again to Q10 over Patreon, because even though I didn't really enjoy this movie, I do appreciate any and all requests, especially when it comes to my patrons. Anyways, yes, those are my thoughts on Japanese story. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all the social media channels. And by all means, if you want to support this channel, you feel free to check out the other videos featured here and also hit that subscribe button. But anyways, yes, that's about it for me, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hope to catch you all in the next video. And lastly, thank you so much to my patrons over Patreon. You guys rock. See you in the next video. Bye.